All right. Before we get into it, let me address the video quality. I know it's grainy, and all I can say is this is an old computer. Uh, I'm not getting a new one anytime soon. To be honest with you, I think it kind of gives my sketches personality. So, not that I have any choice, but we're just gonna run with it. All right. Okay. Honest opinion only. Honest opinions only. Do these glasses make me look smart? I ask because I'm very conscious about my image, especially at work. Um, I want people taking me seriously around the office. And most of all, I don't want to put up any red flags with HR. So that's why I chose these glasses, these specs, because I thought they drew the least attention to myself. So anyway, that's just enough about that. Okay. Um, you know, I want to talk to you today about the comedian Tom Myers, who's really, I think, a just a polar lightning bug in the comedian world. I mean, some people love him, and some people just outright hate him. And I don't have any actual video clips to put up about him because I'm not very good with tech. Actually, when it comes to tech, I'm like a wrecking ball in a curio clock shop. Um, that's to me, me and tech, forget it. It's just a recipe for just mass destruction. That's just the way it is. But Tom Myers, right? Tom Myers, not Tom Meyer. Tom Myers. To some, he's a hack, a comedian whose jokes make no sense. To others, he's a an underrated comedian. Well, yeah, underrated comedic genius. And you know, and even others, he's an anti-comedy hero. Depending on where you fall on that spectrum, is uh, is, is I guess how well you're going to like him. But you know, here's the thing. I think Tom would appreciate this kind of logic. If first you don't succeed, then skywriting is not for you. Um, that's because um, people can see what you're writing in the sky, and the whole world's watching. So I think Tom would get that. And actually, that's a visual joke. That's how you need to view it. And only if you're a visual thinker will you think that joke is funny. But anyway, uh, you're gonna have to look this up on YouTube. But Tom Myers' famous bit is called the bong hit transplant joke. And again, to some, you know, they think that joke is profound. And to others, they think it's the most uh, sensical, undecipherable piece of dreck. Um, I don't know. I guess you're wondering where I fall on all this, and I'm really not going to weigh in on it until like the very end of all this. But you know, I think the bong hit transplant joke, and let me give you an example of something similar that I wrote, and that's it. This. Um, I don't go to a therapist. I shop at the dollar store. Less stressful. And now all I vape now is Glade air freshener. I think it's much healthier and much healthier than any of the other life decisions that I chose. So that's my version of the bong hit transplant joke. And it all depends on what your style of comedy is as to whether you're going to think that's funny. Another one I think in the Tom Myers fashion is this. Let's just pretend that it's not raining outside, but let's just pretend that it is. Um, it's so wet out there that Superman had to Uber, and he caught his cape in the door. Okay, so like I said, if you're a fan of that kind of humor, you're just going to think that's really funny. Um, if you're serendipitously opposed to that kind of humor, then it's just going to be repulsive to you. So, um, you know, let me just cut the cheese on this. I actually am a big fan of Tom Myers. I don't know if he's doing this intentionally or or not, but I think his humor is brilliant. I think it's Dadaist, like Andy Kaufman. Um, I think it's just a fine piece of anti-comedy, whether he knows it or not. But it's got all these styles mixed into it. There's a little bit of Borscht Belt. There's a little bit of cruise ship comedy in there. It's all frapped and pureed into his own Tom's own unique blend, and so I love it. And you'll find a lot of my humor is like that as well. So that's all I have to say about that. I hope this was informative and um, insightful. Insightful, but not spiteful. All right, folks, that's it. Peace out.